Hello, everybody. This is Dorcas Chandler at dorcasgazelle.com. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. I'm doing this taping at evening time rather than in the morning. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because I just wanted to get up and do this taping while it was fresh on my heart and on my mind. I told you, those of you that have been following my weight loss journey, that I would always report the truth. And I mean that from the depths of my heart because I never want to make someone think something that is not. And yes, I have been on my weight loss journey since 2015. But somewhere along the line, I began to get off. I'm still on the weight loss journey. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that my momentum began to slow down, and things that I used to do, I'm no longer doing them. Um, I'm working on my 2019 calendars. They're finished, and I've already printed up a lot of them because people have already told me that they wanted some. But I want to read you something that I wrote in my calendar. It's a special appreciation page that's inside of my calendar. And I just want to read it to you, and then hopefully and prayerfully you can understand where I'm going when I finish this. And I'm going to try to do it without being emotional because I realize that there's some more things that I need to do and some things I need to get back to. This is when I started in 2015. And this is my appreciation page for my 2019 calendars, which are entitled Fresh Start. And it reads as follows. My name is Dorcas Chandler. I am a senior citizen, and this is the testimony of my weight loss journey. Weight is more than food. I believe that before we can change our body, we must first change our mind. I have tried to change a lot of things in my lifetime without understanding that my mind plays a key factor in making lifestyle changes. I became desperate to change after tipping the scale at almost 400 pounds. My mind and my body were in constant pain. I have a spinal cord injury from a car accident and a reoccurring injury to my back from lifting my father off the floor when he was dying of cancer. These injuries have reshaped my destiny in so many ways that today all I can say is I am grateful. On May 26, 2015, I went to my doctor, Dr. Cooper, to ask her if she would tell me what I needed to do to check into a rest home. As a senior citizen living alone, my struggle to care for myself and personal needs had become overwhelming. My doctor's appointment did not go as I had expected it to, but God had a greater plan for my life. Dr. Cooper introduced me to a new way of eating that she wanted me to start, and I consented to the change. Then she told me she needed to conduct a test on my feet. My mind began to race as I sat there in the wheelchair, not being able to bend down due to my weight and back pain. What was I going to do? You see, it was my niece that took me to the doctor that morning that helped me put my shoes on. So who was going to help me now? I knew it was not going to be my doctor because she was a doctor. Little did I know, she said to me, Dorcas, I am going to help you put your shoes on. She did just that. And the word she said to me has helped me and shaped my weight loss journey. She said, push your foot up against mine, Dorcas. Every time I feel like quitting my journey, I think of her words. I vowed to God that if He would help me get up, I would allow other people to push their foot up against mine for support of any kind. I developed a website for others to come to for support called dorcasgazelle.com. And today we are helping hundreds of people. As I continue my weight loss journey, thanks Doc, my older sister, Velma Hamilton, is my rock in my life. Velma is consistent, caring, giving, compassionate, and always allowing me to push my foot up against hers. Velma is always there for me, and I am grateful. Thanks, sis. Words cannot convey the love and loyalty my sister and friends have shown me throughout this journey. There has been times I struggled and wanted to quit, but they would always say, okay, come on, Dorcas, and push your foot up against mine. I have even written exercise songs for when I do my exercises in bed. And a dear friend of mine, Dr. Young, told me, Dorcas, you will make a song out of anything. Thank you to everyone. I mean it from the deepest place of love. To Marty McEwen, you are my editor, proofreader, secretary, and friend in business since 1996. What can I say? This woman has stood with me and never walked away in business, friendship, and difficult times. My personality as a business owner with demands and timelines has not always been pleasant. Marty has always been there. When she could have just walked away. Marty, every book I have written, letter or correspondence you have proofed, know this, I am still in business today because of your friendship toward me. Today I reflect back on all of the Library of Congress certificates I hold as an author and writer, and I celebrate you as my special friend. It is because of the Lord Jesus Christ that we all are standing. What a legacy of grace and mercy as you continue to push your foot up against mine with love and support. To all of my social media friends and subscribers to my channel, Changes from Within, I love you, Dorcas Chandler. Now, why am I reading that? I'm reading that because I started out with this fire. I was reading labels. I was watching portion sizes. And somewhere I've gotten off. Still doing the exercise in the bed. still eating because I wasn't eating right, sometimes wasn't even eating at all. But I start just doing it out of habit and not watching my portion sizes, not counting my carbs because I need to watch my sugar intake. And today I realize you're drifting backwards. And that's what I want to talk about because the goals that we set, we have to make sure that we are constantly aware of what's really going on inside of us. You know, I had a plan of action. I had set goals. I knew how I was going to reach them. I set my goals that I wanted to be better, healthy. I wanted my back to feel better. I wanted to start eating right. And I had set goals that were realistic. And I had people that I would talk to. And so those were my accountability partners. I knew the reason for the change. I knew that I couldn't go on the way that I was living alone by myself if I wasn't willing to change and do the work. You know, sometimes we want God to change us or want people to change us, but we're the ones that really have to do the work. I knew what my expectations were because when I went to my doctor and she told me about the change, then I started doing it and then I lost weight. And so then I kept losing weight. And then there were times where I didn't lose any weight. And then there were times I would lose a little bit of weight. So then it seemed like my weight thing, it just started slowing down. And I was working really hard, doing the same thing, but not getting the same results. So because I wasn't getting the same results, I stopped counting carbs and I stopped seeing how many teaspoons of sugar was in the grams of whatever that I was eating. And these are the things that I used to do because I knew what I needed to do to reach my goal. Now, my goal is not, and I've said this so many times on my taping, is not to be skinny, it's to be healthy. But at the same time, I have a lot more weight I need to get off of my body so that I can feel better. Maybe never getting out of total pain with my back. I don't know. I don't know what God's plan is for me, but this is what I do know. I know that I have to continue my journey. And that's why I'm so grateful that I went on vacation. And somebody was saying, well, you're going to take your laptop. And I said no. And I didn't take my laptop. But what I did right before I left, I ran a copy of my calendar 2019 because I wanted to read it because I felt myself slipping backwards. I felt myself, oh, you don't have to eat now. And don't do it. And then I felt myself eating things that I shouldn't be eating. I felt myself just drifting like I'm going, it's like a slow blowout. And that's why I wanted to go on this vacation, and I wanted to have the time by myself so I could just see and ask God, God, what is going on with me? And so when I came back, after reading my calendars and finishing my book and having the first proof of my book, and I was reading some things in my book that I couldn't believe that some of the things that I wrote in my book, but they're all true. And then I started searching my heart to see, Dorcas, is there a change happening in you that's really taking you back? You talk about how that change can take you back, but you need to look inside yourself and see, are you drifting backwards? And I found out, yes, I am. And I wanted to make sure, because I said I would, that I report the story. But then this is what has happened. So I took a couple of days off when I came back here, and I started evaluating myself and evaluating my food habits, evaluating what I was buying with food. Am I still reading labels? Am I even concerned about the labels? Some things, just because they're supposed to be healthy, and they could be very good health wise, but are they sabotaging your plan of action? And so these are the things that um, I realized that there's some things that's going wrong. And so what I had to do was I had to go back to the drawing board, and I had to re-educate myself as far as my change. And before, I'm telling you, I was researching everything. I wanted to know, how do you read labels, and I know how to do all of that. And it's just like when I was in college. It was like, as long as I didn't know how to do it, I was all in. But then once I learned how to do it, I was not interested anymore. And I see that same behavior that's trying to creep in right now with me, because now that, I know how to read the labels. Before, I didn't know how to read labels. And then once I started reading labels, then I didn't know how to figure out how much sugar, was in a package of whatever. And then once I knew that you divide it by 4 and whatever, and I started learning all these. So everything was new to me. And then staying under 150 carbs if you want to lose weight, just different things that I was on, and excited about them, because I was learning. So what happens with me, if I'm not learning something, I tend to drift. And so then tonight, the reason why I got up was because I had cooked my dinner, and got my kitchen clean and did all that other stuff. And then I went in my bedroom, and then I was just laying there, and I said, you know what? I got to get back. And it was like, no, you don't have to get back. You just need to keep going. Because sometimes when we're trying to get back where we were, we're already there. We just need to keep going. And I am so thankful that I'm wanting to do the right thing regarding my weight. Not only because I have a website now, because I want to do the right thing for my body. Not only do I want to do the right thing for my body, but there has been people that have invested time and energy and prayer and every other kind of thing to help me do what I'm doing, and I'm grateful for that. I mean, I'm grateful for Marty and how she proofread the first part of my book, and now how Lori is doing the final proof, and I'm grateful, because I told Lori, I said, I didn't speak to you about your charge and what you're going to charge me. And she said, Dorcas, I'm not charging you nothing. And I'm just grateful to God that God has put people in my path that are helping me. Now, just because somebody's helping me, I have to do the work. I have to put my part into it. And I'm just grateful that I had the time to go away, to get by myself, and really understand, hey, what are you going to continue to do? And my calendars that I make, and I've said it on taping before, I make these calendars, and I just started a couple years ago making them about my weight, excuse me, making them about my weight and my weight loss journey and trying to do different things like that because I want to try to inspire other people. And I've talked to so many people, I countless of people, and people are doing things to change their health. And I'm talking about health. I mean, not just getting off the weight, but being healthy. I'm talking about not going back. Or I've never been on diabetes medicine, but I don't want to be pre diabetic. I mean, period. I want to make sure that I'm healthy and that I'm living the best life that I can live for God. And I'm here in this apartment, where I live, and I had some struggles a couple months ago, and they kind of messed me up and jacked me up in my mind. But anyway, I thank God that He's allowed me to come out of that and help me to see you got to keep going. And one thing about when we make declarations that we're going to do something, especially a change, we always have to look out for the spirit of distraction. And not only distraction, but discouragement. Discouragement can cause us to also abort our journey and the journey that God has put in our lives to help somebody else. And so, I was thinking, and I was sitting in my living room, and I was looking at one of my calendars, and I thought, these calendars, they have different sayings in them, and this one's going to be a little bit different. But and I thought about the lady that was here in this apartment complex, and how she had called me in the middle of the night and told me it was like one something in the morning, almost two, and how that she asked me could she come because I had my number in the calendar, and I told her come, and she said yeah. And so I told her that she needed to give me 15 minutes, and you might have heard this story before. And it was so early in the morning, and I was like, God, am I doing the right thing? I don't know this lady, and I'm getting ready to open up my house, and I'm on a walker. And so I did. I just said, okay, come in 15 minutes. And she said, I just need to talk. And so I let the lady come, and we talked and everything. And she said, I've been seeing your calendar sit down on the table. My husband reads it every morning before he go to work. And I was like, oh, really? And so she said, yeah. And so we talked about some troubles and some things that was going on in her life. And then at the almost end of our conversation, she said, thank you for letting me come in, and thank you for your calendar, because I was getting ready to commit suicide tonight. But I picked up your calendar because I seen my husband reading your calendar. And we don't know what impact that we have on people's lives. And I don't want to be a castaway. I don't want to. That's why I said I will always report the truth. I will never come and make you think that I'm doing one thing and I'm doing something else. That's just not my personality anyway. But I just want to make sure that I let you all know that the struggles that go on in my life, I know that we all have struggles. And I know together, we can make this journey. And so I'm just excited about what's happening, and how that I got back up tonight, and I'm reading and I'm researching, and I'm looking at labels, and I'm saying, okay, now what's in your refrigerator, and what changes you need to make, and some healthy foods that I picked up because I heard people say they were healthy. Some of these foods are so packed with sugar, and those are not the things that I need. And so sometimes, even when you're on your journey, you're going to hear people say different things about, oh, you can eat that because that's healthy. But some of these things, my goodness, when I looked them up tonight, they're packed with sugar. And I'm not telling you what to do about your sugar. You need to talk to your doctor. But I'm telling you that some of this stuff that we're doing is not healthy. And just because it it looks healthy or it has a healthy label, some of these things are causing diabetes and all these other different things and arthritis and just stuff. And so, because of my back injury, I have arthritis in my back. So, I'm trying to do all these things. I'm trying to keep my blood pressure under control. So, I have to watch my sodium intake. So, there's just a lot of things to being healthy. And I'm committed. I really am. And one of the things that I struggle with and I had struggled with was my age. Why am I doing this at such an old age? I'm older now. Why couldn't I do this at 21? But for whatever reason that God has chosen me to do it now, I accept the challenge. And I'm hoping that because of my honesty and because to let us know that it's no magic thing that you can do when it comes to eating and you wanting to do right. You're wanting to change. Anything that you're wanting to change takes work. Change takes determination, perseverance. It takes, it also means allowing yourself not to not to beat yourself up, rather, because you have missed the mark. And there hasn't been all the times that I missed the mark, but there are times now that I've seen that you're slipping backwards. So because I slipped backward, don't go back. Start right where you're at. And I am so grateful for everybody that has spoken to my life and said, Dorcas, keep going. What you eat today, Dorcas. People have held me accountable, especially when I first started, because my body was in starvation and I didn't care if I ate or not, and people would call and say, what'd you eat today, Dorcas? And I would tell them what I ate. And these are things that are in my calendar about getting an accountability partner, somebody that you could be accountable with, somebody that you could share just openly. I am not ashamed of my failures nor my successes. And I know we don't be ashamed of our success, but sometimes people feel like, it's not being humble if you don't tell, I did this and God blessed me to do it and I'm grateful. I am so grateful that I've been on this journey since 2015. And I wouldn't take nothing for the journey. The ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. I wouldn't take nothing. And the people that God has strategically, there's some people strategically that will be put in your journey if you're for real. And even if you're not for real, sometimes there are people that are talking to us and we don't want to hear it. And those are the times that 9 times out of 10 we do need to hear it. What am I saying today? Fresh start. Start from where we are. Get accountability partners. Somebody that you could be accountable to. I go to the doctor. They're taking blood. They can see something going on in the blood. Something ain't right. You need to be accountable. And I know also that I'm talking to people also that are overweight who hate going to the doctor because they're telling me the different ways that doctors treat them. But I'm telling you, we need to and for me to tell you this, because I used to be the same way. Hey, I ain't going to no doctor. I don't care what they say. But I'm telling you, you need someone that knows more than you do about your body. Really? Really. And a lot of times, too, you have to be careful what you read on the internet because you have to sift through some of that stuff. There is all kind of stuff telling you to do all kind of things and they don't work out. And they tell you to buy this and buy that. And all it is sometimes is a money thing. And then maybe it's true. I don't know. But I tell you, there's thousands of things out there on the search engine. More than thousands. And so I want us to be encouraged. And if you've started a journey, no matter what it is, it don't have to be weight, and you said, this is what I'm going to do, and you found yourself going backwards, just realize this: you can make it. Come on. Let's just start from where we are, and let's just keep going, and let's just keep fighting the good fight of faith, because together we win. Hey, this has been Dorcas Chandler at dorcasgazelle.com. You all have a blessed and wonderful evening and wonderful morning. All right, bye bye.